What's up, people? This is the Bleav in Saints podcast presented by FanDuel. I am Mario Jerez, Spanish play-by-play voice of the Saints, native New Orleanian. She is my co-host, Erin Summers, veteran reporter covering the Saints and the NFL. And today, we are pumped to welcome our next guest, two-time Super Bowl champion, Super Bowl MVP, former NFL Man of the Year. To this day, he still holds the Super Bowl records for the highest completion percentage and a highest passer rating, now a broadcaster and an analyst on multiple platforms, including the Sims Complete Pod that he hosts with Matt Sims. He is legendary NFL quarterback Phil Sims. Phil, thanks so much for taking the time today, my friend. How are you?
I'm doing well, Mario. Good to talk to you. Erin, good to see you. Erin was just telling us before we came on about our vacations. I said, yeah, it must be nice to be able to go away all the time, but, just kidding. But, great to be on the Saints. I just got to be honest. I don't get a chance to – I don't know what it is. I know I think you would agree with me. Not enough eyes on their games and watching as far as we talk about the country. And the way to get that, of course, now is to play really well, be exciting, all these things. Kellen Moore, second year. Man, I think it's a really interesting year coming for the Saints.
It should be. They're very excited down here in New Orleans, missing the playoffs each of the last 4 seasons since Drew Brees retired. Now they're trying to get back, and we'll talk plenty of Saints. I definitely want to pick your brain on Tyler Shough, what you've seen so far, what you want to see going forward. But you've done a great job as an analyst covering the entirety of the NFL, and I kind of want to start there. Me and Erin were just talking about it being the first of the month. We're getting closer to the actual thing. So that being said, whether it's the Saints, whether it's your former team, the Giants, what are you looking forward to the most in the NFL in 2026?
Oh, well, of course, I'll be honest. I'm looking forward to the Giants first and foremost for many reasons. One, I do some work for them, which I'm, really happy to do. And the excitement here in New York or New Jersey, everywhere I go, everybody's pumped about the Giants. And I actually, last night I was kind of at a little gathering. I just said, hey, everybody settle down a little. Just don't forget, this is the NFL. It's hard as hell. It's hard. And they made some great additions. And this kind of goes to the Saints. The Giants, without question, found a franchise quarterback. And I'll just say this, just watching him play, he's better than I expected him to be. He's more mobile than I thought I would see watching all the film. And his arm is NFL. I should have said Jackson Dart, who I'm talking about. But his arm is, it's big-time NFL throwing and accuracy. He does not miss when somebody is open or whatever. So that's why the Giant fans are excited. And like I said, they got a quarterback that they can hope to rely on the next 10 years.
We kind of touched on it a little bit, mentioned Kellen Moore in his second year here with their quarterback situation with Tyler Shough coming in as your starter now from day one of the offseason versus the quarterback battle that they had last year. How much does that help a second-year player coming in, having the entire offseason, knowing that he is going to be the guy?
Oh, it's big time. I mean, now he can practice and be free and be in the meetings and talk or whatever, not be going, oh, man, I got to beat the other guy out and all that stuff. I like Tyler Shough a lot coming out. I grew up in Louisville, Kentucky. Jeff Brom, who's the coach of the Cardinals, I know him very well. And if you want to be a damn pro quarterback, go to Louisville because he teaches. And it hurts them in a way. One, they get a great foundation of how to play the position physically and mentally. But what hurts them is it's not all about the quarterback. We're going to throw it every down and be all this stuff. No, they run the ball. They run an NFL offense. Mm-hmm. So I'm sure that was kind of noticeable about Tyler Shough almost right away. But I liked him a lot. I thought that late first round he might go in the draft. But what hurt, so I'm going through all this, that's probably what hurt him is the fact that, well, it's not razzle-dazzle. We don't know. Big, mobile, not a great arm, but really good. So he's not one of the top 10 throwers in the NFL as far as just ripping everything whenever they see somebody open. But I think he did. He had a really good year, and I think he's going to look at it and go like this: "Damn, I didn't know. I thought I was better than that." Because what you perceive, and now going in the second year, you really got a much better feel. And you're going to look back. Same with Kellen Moore. He's probably sitting in there going, damn, that was a big mistake in that game. He's going to go through it too, and he's going to be a better coach this year, no doubt.
You would think so. And the continuity is huge, having the same quarterback, same head coach going into a second straight season. That hasn't been common around these parts. But that being said, Phil, when you watch Tyler in his rookie year, won some games, which I all the time say wins and losses aren't necessarily a quarterback stat, but he did have a winning. He did that. You're welcome. He did have a winning record as a starter, did have some wins against teams with winning records that were alive for the division title at the time, and had some clutch moments. That being said, what did you like from Tyler Shough's rookie year, and what do you think he needs to work on going into a very important year too?
Well, all the above, just what you said. I think that there's a couple things. I think you'd learn to throw the football NFL style as you go along. And the second year is a big year where you will have it. You just have a better feel for the game. I would be very surprised if he doesn't have a little more pep on the ball, just because you get used to all those things and you relax more. And when you relax as a quarterback, it's like, I don't know, I'm trying to correlate it. Pitching a baseball, you can just let it go. And I think you'll see that in him. He can make every throw that you need to see to win games, to be a franchise quarterback and all that. I don't think this is going to be a short career for Tyler Shough down in New Orleans. Really surprised at how tough they were. With Kellen Moore, I just wonder, how's it going to be for him standing in front of the team talking? And apparently it went really well. So, and the other thing is what? Look at the division. I know how it goes. Everybody's looking, man, we got Tampa Bay. They're on their way. They're not playing. Terrible year last year. They really took a step back. Of course, you guys, and then Atlanta and Carolina. So you got to look at it and go, well, we don't have the killers, so we have a chance to win those games, of course. So that'll be interesting to kind of follow.
Yeah, the division has been there for the taking for a little while now, and you don't need double-digit wins to potentially win the division when it comes to the NFC South. When you look at this team and what they've added around Tyler in the receivers, running backs, you bring in Travis Etienne, there seems like there's been a big effort to add weapons for him to utilize. How much is that going to help the team take that next step forward when they do have so many different dynamic pieces?
Look, they've done a great job for him. In other words, they're giving him more support than ever. And you do need game changers almost everywhere on the field. And so we need receivers who can catch a short pass and they're gone, or they can get open deep, things like that. You need that. Of course, the running game is always important to keep things balanced. I look at a couple things, which I really haven't done much of yet, but I will before the season. I'm going to really go and judge their offensive line. Because you know what? When you play behind a good offensive line, it's just amazing how the quarterback plays well. And, so I think that's big too. And they just need to be, just for the overall team, man, they just got to hit the quarterback more. And that's, I wasn't afraid to stand in there and get hit. I'm not bragging, of course, but if I didn't play that way, Bill Parcells would always go, what the heck, Sims, stand in there. Just he had a saying that I can't tell you, but it hit the point. And so you really want that good offensive line. So the quarterback, I played behind two of them. I had great confidence in them, and I could play that way too, because I knew there wasn't going to be these all of a sudden drop back and get killed and fumble the ball and throw it everywhere. So we'll see how that goes.
Well said. And we could definitely tie it back to the Saints in a moment. I want to ask you about Kellen Moore and some other stuff, but you mentioned your past experiences and specifically Bill Parcells. And I want to ask you a little bit about that, because if you research into your story and your career, things didn't necessarily start well for you. You had a good rookie year, but then injuries, some adversity, some benchings even at one point. And Bill Parcells was originally the defensive coordinator for the Giants before he took over as head coach. Y'all went on that legendary run. In today's NFL, I'm not sure quarterbacks would even get that much leeway, honestly, Phil. Like a few struggling seasons like that, they might not even get a future with that team. That being said, whether it's Tyler Shough hitting a wall in his second year or any young NFL quarterback going through some adversity, what advice would you have for those quarterbacks?
Yeah, well, there's a lot there. Boy, it's a lot, And when I played, it was just this different league. The running back was the star. This quarterback thing has just come around, and let's do everything for the quarterback. Got to have a quarterback. Got to have a franchise quarterback. It's got to do it all. Is he mobile? Is it? Come on, all this stuff. So I never got benched either, by the way.
My bad.
Okay, it's okay. I can't hurt my feelings. He hurt them enough. So he toughened me up. But what would he always say? He would say something. Oh, Sims, whenever you get cabin fever, that tells me it's over. In other words, if that means you get a little itchy in the pocket and all this stuff and get rid of the ball too quick. So we had a great relationship. It was really very different from any other relationship, probably to this day, of a quarterback and head coach. I mean, he would say things to me. It was unbelievable. And I could actually just take a second, look at him, and just rip him. I mean, let it all go. And then when I'd get done, I would think, oh my God, I might have really crossed the line this time. He goes, ooh, everybody, Sims is mad at me. That's what, how do you fight that? And I go, man, Bill, there's something wrong with you. It's easy to laugh now, but as I tell everybody, for 8 years, every morning about 7:00, when I walked in the locker room, here we go. It was going to be another damn rough day, tough day. And I don't know how Kellen Moore does practice or whatever. Practice was more important to us than the damn game. And that was just one of his things. If the practice wasn't really good, he would be on the warpath the next day. And it just, it made you always a little tense, but you knew there wasn't a day off. So I don't think Kellen Moore is that guy, but there's lots of ways to get it done in the NFL. There's coaches that try to do it with X's and O's, some with their personality, tough, here's what we're going to do, whatever. So we'll see. I would think Kellen Moore really knows how to handle the guys. He was really terrific at it when he was a starting quarterback. And I'm sure he learned a lot this past year being the head coach.
It's been an interesting dynamic between Kellen Moore and Tyler Shough, both coming in new last year, new as a head coach and new quarterback in the NFL. But their relationship, they seem very close. They talk a lot. They've gone over film together through the offseason. They're trying to expand the playbook this year. And Kellen has said there are many moments last year where I should have done some things differently. And one thing we've talked about, Mario and I, a few times is the slow starts that they had to games. And that's something that they've talked about needing to do better in practices. When you look at the way that you practice, especially now, because we've heard stories about two-a-days, in Louisiana where people were dying, and they don't practice like that anymore.
No, nobody
does.
does.
Right. So what is your take on that? Because you played in a different era.
Oh, I mean, we were in full pads every day for 10 straight years. And I mean, and during the season, during training camp, everything. Oh, let's go out today. There was never like, oh, we're going to take this day and rest everybody up. It's totally different. Like I said, it was a different league. The game was more compacted. Now it's sideline to sideline. So what happens is you got more time and more space to build up speed and make bigger hits and things like that. So, but yeah, I think when you talk about fast starts, I'll go back. I won't say his name anymore after this, but Bill Parcells was really into making sure we were going to get on top. And decisions that he would make, I'd go, man, Coach Sims, we want to get on top of them because once you get on top and you're leading, the other team can start to press almost early, first quarter. They can do it. Mm-hmm. And that was his big thing. We look for big plays in every damn game right off the start. And usually it would be something a little unique or something we hadn't shown too much of. But getting the lead in the NFL games, man, and as that clock just keeps ticking and you're the one that's behind, it's panic. It really is. You're like, well, we got to score this drive. Well, it's not quite that easy, my man. But yeah, all these things I'm talking about there, I Bleav Kellen Moore's probably researched it with tons of coaches. Man, he had a really interesting, I'm not going to say a great career, But dang, I'd turn those games on late at night in Boise State, and he was throwing that everywhere. So, but yeah, I'm sure that'll probably be the number one thing we'll notice about the team. Better starts, and the quarterback is just going to be crisper in what he does to help the team.
Don't feel bad about mentioning Bill, man. I'm sure he'll come up some more throughout the interview. We love El Gran Tuna down here. El Gran Tuna, that's what we call him on the Spanish broadcast.
Yeah, it's great to be on with you guys, but I used to love to go on with Bobby Hebert. I think I did it just to listen to his voice, because that his way of talking. And, I think about him a lot for some reason. I just go, we were really close as far as talent. And it just, sometimes I was luckier. I was on probably a little better team for many years. And the coach, whatever, not his coach was great too, Coach Mora. But Bobby was great. Not to change the subject, but I just would smile every time he talks, because that accent, man, it's real. It's great.
No, you can change the subject, man. That's the whole point of a podcast. We can take this wherever we want. And since you took it there, you and Bobby also play with some great defensive players. Bobby practicing against Von Johnson and Ricky Jackson and all those guys in the Dome Patrol, and you sharing a field with Lawrence Taylor. And I had to ask you about that, man. What was it like playing with him? And was it as maybe as intimidating for his teammates as it was for opponents with LT?
Well, I'll answer that in a second. Let me just say this. When I played games down in New Orleans, and I don't know what it was, of course, the crowd noise, nobody could hear me call the play. We just guessed at it and went up there. But looking at that defense, I'm not exaggerating. I go, ooh, this is different. I mean, it was different. And Ricky Jackson once hit me a little after the whistle blew or whatever, and I got lucky I didn't get hurt. And I looked at him, he goes, oh, man, okay, Phil, I'm sorry, he didn't really mean it, but but it was really something to play down there. And what was your original question? We were
LT. What was it like playing with him and sharing a field with Lawrence Taylor?
Well, it was great, of course. It's a big reason why we had great success, because it filters through everybody. We had a linebacking core that was every bit of what New Orleans had in their great days, but the difference was we had 8 of them. I mean, we had guys that were backing up Lawrence Taylor, Harry Carson, all them. They were NFL starters, maybe stars, but they couldn't get on the field because of who was in front of them. And that made life bad for me because, the second team is the scout team during the week, and all these guys are mad as hell that they're not getting enough snaps. So they're ruining practice for all of us. And, it was really – I sat there one day and I was with Lawrence and Harry Carson. I started talking about the linebackers. I went, oh my gosh, we had so many good ones, man. It was but Lawrence, personality, he definitely had a different set of rules for him than everybody else on the team. I'll leave it at that. And it was a big difference of rules. But the one thing he could do, no matter what he did the night before, how he felt, whatever, I would walk to practice with him most days. On the outside field, and I'd go, hey, how we doing, big boy? Because I was having some fun because he wasn't feeling good. And he goes, Sims, there's only one thing to do today. And I said, what's that? He goes, I'm going to go crazy. And he did. And he ruined practice. So there he is, rough night, coming out the next day and just really dominating everything. And finally they go, get him out of there. And so that's probably what he was trying to do, cut it in half, all the workload. But, man, great athlete, could do anything. If he had a basketball shooting contest, he'd be right in it. Picked up golf way through his football career. And, of course, he's obsessive as anybody you could ever meet. So he played golf 36 holes a day, every day, during the offseason. Yeah. How many rounds did you play 2 years ago, Lawrence? I'd ask him once. I think that was the year I played 536 rounds. Real.
Wow.
Yeah, wow. He's not exaggerating. He played over 500 rounds many years. And then his age, kind of creeped in, had to slow down a little. Even Lawrence Taylor had to slow down a little. So, but he's a good dude, and he was a great teammate. He really was.
I'm a UNC grad over here, so I love him.
Is there a statue of him outside the stadium there?
Yes, on the backside. Yeah.
Oh, really? I mean, North Carolina. Who do you have in football that there should be a statue of Lawrence Taylor where everybody can, I don't
Yeah.
know.
They have,
Something like
obviously, they
a-
have him around the
Yeah.
stadium with a couple of the other legends and stuff like
Okay.
that. But
All right.
yeah.
So I was wrong. I didn't think they had any. So I was getting ready to.
So I read that you were the first person to say that you're going to Disney World
Yes, that's right.
after you. Where did that come from and why?
Why? Well, I was asked all week long to do this, and I went, "What? What are you kidding? To do what?" I could, and now it would be like, "Yeah, it's no big deal." But I was like, "Man, I don't want to do that." I said, "Gosh, you're kind of telling me that I got to be thinking about winning because I got to do this thing after the game or something." I just couldn't deal with that. But I think it was on Friday night, maybe even Saturday night before the game. My agent just kept calling. Are you sure you don't want to do it? I think you should do it. You should do it. All right. And then I finally I said, you know what? Just so you'll shut up, I said to my agent, I'll do it. And the game was over. I'm happy, of course, we won. I'm walking across the field. I want to shake some hands and say, talk to John Elway and everything like that. And all of a sudden I get a tap. Hey, Phil, come on, you're going to Disney World. Oh, okay. So I come home on Monday and my phone's ringing off the hook. And I'm not exaggerating. Almost everybody that called, the first thing out of their mouth was, man, how did y'all do that commercial? That was bigger than the damn game to a lot of my friends. I'm like, oh, well. But so this is what? Let's see. What year is this going to be for them doing it? It's over. It's going to be the 40th, I think. That's what it is. So they're going to be a big celebration about this, is what I've heard.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it was good. You know what? I moaned and groaned the whole time, and I'm very happy that I did it now because people to this day still talk about it.
Absolutely. Yeah. It definitely caught on.
Yeah,
It did.
yeah.
It did. Transcendent moment for lots of Super Bowl winning quarterbacks since then, and a lot of fans, including us, when Drew Brees said that. That was one of the happiest moments of my life, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But tying it back to the Saints for a moment, we talked Kellen Moore, we talked a lot of Tyler Shough. I want to get your opinion on the Saints wide receiver room, and specifically Chris Olave. This is a player that's been in the NFL now 4 seasons, has had 1,000 yards in 3 of those 4 seasons. The other one had concussion issues, and now he seems to have a little bit of continuity with his quarterback because he's had a lot of different ones, whether you talk about Jameis Winston or Derek Carr and everybody in between. But now he enters year 2 with Tyler Shough and with Kellen Moore as his play caller. So that said, when Chris Olave is healthy, what kind of receiver do you think he is?
Well, I looked just real quick. I looked at the roster and I went, "Wow, Chris Olave's been there how many years?" I'm thinking year 2 or 3, but I can't remember now. Is it 4 years?
4 seasons, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, he's a big time. I think he's definitely a big time. Not big time. I'm not going to say that. I think he's in that that big group, but it's a little below about 5 other guys. But yeah, he's a number 1 receiver, and I don't know. I never think it's an accident. Somehow, when I played, I was always going to find what I've considered our best pass catcher and receiver, and his name was Mark Navarro. Where's Mark? So I'm sure it's the same with Chris too. You get familiar with each other, and you really get such a great feel. It's amazing. The connection with your top 2 or 3 receivers. It's real, and it really should just continue to get better because you're all in the same thing. We all got to do our job to help each other, just on and on. And it's a big deal for football teams. It really is, especially now. It's Chris Olave. Who else am I thinking of? Oh, I'm not even going to say his name. Rashid Shaheed. Did I say it right?
You got it, yeah.
Man, that's a tongue twister. That's all I can say. But yeah, so there's other things there. Again, the Saints, too, which it was for many years under Sean and all that, pass protection. And having the playbook, I have no doubt, is going to get a lot bigger this year with Kellen Moore because that's what it takes. You got to keep the defense always a little bit on edge. And first downs are easy to fool them. But can you do stuff on second and third down to make it easier, which everybody tries to do, but it's hard to do. It's just to make it easier on your quarterback and your players to give them where they get the advantage by the play call is when you know you really got it going.
When you look at what the Saints have been doing this offseason, we haven't seen Chris Olave or Jordan Tyson, their first pick in the draft.
Yeah.
They haven't been participating fully because they have the injury history. So they're being cautious of what they're allowing them to do right now. And you talked about that chemistry between your wide receivers and your quarterback. At what point should we be concerned if we are not seeing them full go leading into the season?
Well, if they're not full go when the season's getting ready to come around, then it's a big deal. But training camp, off-season program, these guys, I mean, everybody says this phrase, but I got to say it too. They're thoroughbreds. I mean, they're unicorns. And, they're going to go out there and you let them out. If you don't really watch it, all of a sudden you got this guy with great speed, and now we've turned him into a marathon runner, So the kind of the less they do makes them more explosive to me on the field. I mean, that's what they are. There's 20 gold medal winners probably in the NFL if they were in the Olympics in the 100 meters. I mean, so those guys, you can't go out and just rep them to death. So I don't know all the circumstances with what they're doing as far as you're asking me that, but I'm sure it's been thought out very carefully, and they're trying to manage this to keep these guys full speed. So when opening day comes, they're ready to go.
You said earlier in the interview, Phil, the NFC South should be interesting this year. And looking at the current FanDuel odds, the Bucs are the betting favorites at plus 200. Saints not far behind at plus 260. Panthers plus 300, and the Falcons down there at plus 320. Looking at the quarterbacks in this division, which one would you want to have the most going into 2026? We had Tyler Shough going into his second season here. I know the Falcons have a battle right now between Michael Penix and Tua. I feel like Tua can maybe do well there. Bryce Young's been kind of up and down in Carolina, but had some clutch moments last year. And Baker Mayfield's kind of the veteran guy in the group that has had the playoff success that nobody else has. That being said, putting you on the spot, out of those four quarterbacks, which one would you want to have the most going into this season?
Ooh, that's tough. I mean, so all of them have the same exact offense and everything. Now, which one can take advantage of it the most? Well, to me, that's not even it's Baker Mayfield, So I look at the Bucs though, and I watched them a lot last year for some reason. Maybe people wanted me to always talk about them, but man, it definitely wasn't the same. And I don't even, I haven't studied this yet or what, but I'd be very surprised if they win the division next year or this coming year, I should say. It was work. Baker Mayfield was a miracle worker for weeks and weeks, but there's only so many times you can do that. And also the pressure is not the pressure, but they knew what you were going to do. You got to keep throwing. And he did a great job with that. But I look at the Bucs and just wonder this, and of course, Baker's having a contract issue too. And I understand he deserves more money, but they're kind of looking at it, man, we got to save everything we can because we need more players. And then, to look at Bryce Young and see how he finished the year, but I still look at him and just go, I like it. They've done a really good job of getting people around him that's working well and all that stuff. But I still don't look at him and go, wow, Bryce Young could win this game against us single-handedly. I don't see that. New Orleans and Atlanta, Tua's going to win the job. I'll be shocked if he doesn't win the job down there. There's no way Michael Penix can be 100% in my eyes then. And this offense, Tua's, what's the word for it? It's not an average NFL arm. Strength-wise. He can't get the ball down the field like just about every quarterback can in the NFL. So, but he is accurate, gets rid of the ball. He's indoors. He's playing in this division. It's all good weather. I mean, so it's there for him to have a chance. So that'll be interesting too, to see it. Michael Penix, if he gets a chance to play this year, if he doesn't get it done, and if we don't see the guy that we thought he might be, then he's going to be looking somewhere else next year.
Yeah. We've talked a lot about the NFC South, and we do have a game against the Giants this year, right?
I haven't looked at it that close. You do. Where's it at?
Yes. I think it's up there.
Because, man, the Saints I almost think they ruined the Giants season last year. because the Giants are kind of like, man, I have faith. I said, man, they're playing. And then I think they started the game out pretty well, but then it exploded. And I just kept going, oh my God, every series it's worse.
Yeah.
So that will be interesting because we got two teams, the coaches and the quarterbacks. There's a lot
Mhm.
there. That'll be fun,
What is your take on people wanting to say that it's the quarterbacks playing against each other because they're never on the field together? So are we really going to see them competing?
Yeah, of course. Well, you compete, after the game, if you win, you play well, you walk across the field and you see the other quarterback go, hey, how'd you like that? Good job. See you. It's got to be a great feeling to know that. It's terrible when you got to shake the other guy's hand and they just beat you by 20. Shut up.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I was going to say something about all that. But yeah, you're right. Well, the quarterback, it's just him. I forgot the other 21 guys that play mean nothing.
Mhm.
So that
Yeah.
drives me crazy with the media. I watch TV all morning, every day to see what everybody's saying. And there's a couple things. If I ever talk about somebody's QBR, you have my permission to come out here and hit me behind the head as hard as you can because his QBR. How about this one? I love this one, dude. Caleb Williams. I worry about his completion percentage. Yeah, you worry about it because you don't know what the hell you're talking about. What do you mean? Caleb, you're worried about his completion percentage as he's throwing passes that only maybe 2 or 3 guys in the NFL can make like he does. But
Mhm.
we got to work on that completion percentage. I hear that. I just go, oh my God. Oh, it's 58%. They act like that's something. How about all the tremendous throws? It might have been one of the greatest throwing years of any quarterback ever. I mean, and the situations.
Mhm.
So I didn't like Caleb Williams coming out of college. I loved him. And after his rookie year, I had to be on this group with people doing this. And they said, well, if you had to redraft the quarterbacks, where would you have who would be your first pick? I said, Caleb Williams. I'd run to the damn thing. Well, Jaden Daniels. No, I want Caleb Williams. That's it. I think he's going to last a long time. And he's got a coach that's changed who he is personally. And of course, physically, he's probably, I'm not going to get into all that, but he's one of the top 2 or 3 dynamic quarterbacks in the NFL.
Yeah, that last throw in the playoff game, even though they lost, was wild. Like, you definitely see the
Unbelievable.
potential with
I literally jumped out of my seat and just ran through the kitchen, got something to eat on the way. But yeah, it was unbelievable. He made so many just the greatest the greatest throws I've seen in many, many years. So,
Yeah.
and it sounds like he's really into being a pro, so
Mhm.
it's all coming together. I can't wait to watch him play.
And coaching is important, right? A first-time head coach with him and Ben Johnson, just like Tyler Shough has that with Kellen Moore down here. And that being said, we've talked a lot of offense with the Saints, quarterback, head coach. But as a team, do you think they're ready to break through in 2026? We asked that to every guest at the end of the interview. Do you
Oh, it's
Bleav?
okay.
Do you
Yeah.
Bleav in the Saints? Do you think they'll have a winning record and or make the playoffs for the first time in a long time?
I think it'll be close. I do, but I'm with you guys. I if they do, I won't be going, oh my God, it's Saints! I can't believe it. No, I wouldn't do that at all. I think they got enough pieces. I think. Listen, players cannot overcome bad coaching. Okay, I played on some teams with a coach, and I'd see the game plan. I go, what the hell is this? Well, we can't do anything with that. And you just can't. You need help. The system is first and foremost the driving force of your football team, both sides of the ball. So it's going to be an interesting follow. And Tyler Shough, I'll watch him every single week. The one thing I do is I cheat. I just watch all the throws real quick by a lot of quarterbacks that I know nobody's going to ask me about and to get a feel for them. And he'll probably be one of those guys. If they get off to a good start. What week do they play the Giants?
I see it's on October 15th. I'm not sure what week
that's
that is, but October 15th, like
probably
midway.
about week 6 or 5 or 6.
I Bleav it is week 6. You're right.
Well, I got to tell you the truth. I'm going to root against the Saints that day.
All good. Would expect nothing less, my man.
Yeah.
Would expect
no,
nothing less.
it's unbelievable. I've definitely become a fan, and and I think a lot of it just happened to. It's just what's going on. I was last year. I thought the Giants were going to be a little sneaky last year. Now looking back and seeing the starting units of both sides, I go, what the hell was I thinking? Just wasn't enough players that make plays to win games. And of course, Jackson Dart's got that year under his belt. I don't know. What do you think? I was shocked by Jackson. One, he's a big dude. I mean, he's thick as hell. And his running, he looks faster in the pros than he did in college. And his throwing, like I said, moving, whatever he does, it's a perfect spiral every throw, and he just doesn't miss. And besides all that, as we're talking about, he's got the personality. I mean, he's Cool Hand Luke. And I hope it doesn't get too far out there, but you know what I mean? The players love him, the fans love him, and he's got it. That's what you want in a quarterback. That personality can drive other players to, I think, bigger things because of that.
I think that's the thing with him. And I'll hand up, I was kind of wrong about him. I wasn't, like you were talking about with another quarterback earlier, I wasn't super high on Jackson Dart just because I thought he was a little bit of a product of the system at Ole Miss. We've seen Matt Corral and guys like that go in, but he definitely differentiated himself, I think, as somebody who can have success in the pros, and we saw that his rookie season.
It took me a while. So don't be, I at first going, I don't know. Yeah. And, of course, college, what you got to be careful. They're filming the damn game from the top of the stadium. I mean, so everybody looks, I go, is that Jackson Dart? What? Oh, it's unbelievable. And I watch it going, and then as time went on, because I did a lot of stuff on the quarterbacks. There's going to be a lot this year I'm going to do a lot on. But I don't know when it was. I started watching a couple games. I went, man, what the hell was I watching before? Because he's really good. And it's just not all the coach and all this funny, they run a unique offense. Everything they ran is what I see in the NFL. It's college, and it looks different and all that stuff. But, he's turned out – hey, the Giants, they're very confident they got the guy. And New Orleans, they're pretty confident, but let's make sure. Let's, you want to see it, right? You want to see it early in the year. You want to see it come out of the box playing well, and that's who you want them to be.
Very fair. Very fair.
He only played half the season last year. So, you want to see it for the whole year. But to your point about Jackson Dart and the persona that he is, I think Tyler Shough has done a good job endearing himself with the fan base. He's been out and about in the community. I think that the fans really like him a lot.
Well, that's great. That is a help. Sometimes the fans can bring the team along with, just cheering and the emotion and all that stuff. So that's really good. And all you can do as a quarterback, you got to be who you are. Are you the guy that gets in the huddle and curses everybody out? I don't know that guy. But or you Mr. All right, come on, let's go now. You can do it. Things like that. So I think that's a big deal. And I would say Tyler Shough is just a positive, really positive guy.
Yes, good vibes with Tyler. Saints at the Giants week 6 should be interesting. Maybe a potential rivalry there between Dart and Tyler Shough. So that'll be fun to see. And
make sure you call me that week.
Yeah, we will. We'll definitely do a rehashing of this conversation. This conversation has been awesome, by the way, Phil. Obviously, you're a legendary quarterback. I grew up watching you on my television with Jim Nantz, great commentator. As you know, I'm a play-by-play guy as well, so I really respect the work that you've done. And thank you so much for this conversation, man. I feel like we could do this for so much longer, but I know you got stuff to do, so thank you for the time.
Hey, it's hotter. It's New Orleans hot up here right now, so if I could – stay inside a little more, I would be happy to. But listen, thank you both for having me on, and I look forward to talking to you. Week 5 or 6 of the NFL season? That'll be fun. Hey, you know what? Let's do this. Okay, Erin, you'll remember. Mario and I, it just goes right up. We got to have some type of wager, a fun one. I don't know what it would be.
Okay.
Erin, you come up with it, and whatever it is, we'll go with it.
Okay, that's fair.
Okay, we'll do that.
We want to be part of the game a little, so we'll get some energy.
Yeah.
I yell at the TV even more than I do now.
No, for sure. Maybe something food related. New York's got a lot of good food. New Orleans has a lot of good food. Maybe the loser can send the winner a little something. So let's definitely do that.
I'm
Phil,
trying to lose weight, so I don't know if maybe I'll be down. I don't know, because there's one thing I'm really good at. I'm really good at eating.
There you go. There you go. All right. And you're
All
really
right.
good. You're really good at commentating. So thanks for the time, Erin. Thank you. If
Yeah.
you listen today, please don't forget to hit subscribe, leave a 5-star rating, and write a review. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcast. For Erin Summers and Phil Simms, I'm Mario Jerez saying thank you for listening or watching Bleav in Saints. We'll talk to y'all soon. Who dat?